Hello everyone, Scott here again. Welcome back to the Guilty Pleasure Cinema. Welcome back to Hyperbole. I say it differently than Hyperbole because that makes it mine. Just got out of Transformers Age of Extinction, or Transfo Atmos. It's the fancy theater again. Actually really good compared to the other ones. Quick summary. Transformers I enjoyed, but I felt like it was missing something. It's kind of the same feeling I have towards some of the first superhero movies like Fantastic Four and Spider-Man. It's a lot of establishing and it's things I already know, so it's kind of like, let's get on with it. And the first one kind of had that, but what it did well was great. Michael Bay, I think, is perfect for these things, and Spielberg had heart to it, so that was the first one. Revenge of the Fallen suffered from a writer's strike, as we found out later. But it was also very, very dumb. It ramped that sophomoric humor, which did have its place, and added a brevity to things and a lightness to it. That became a focus in the second one, and it was the wrong thing to do. The third one, Dark of the Moon, was overbloated. It was too long. It was paced horribly. And it tried to go more serious and yet keep all that humor stuff too. But it still did things right. Like it's a Michael Bay Transformers movie and he's the perfect one to make these. So yeah, it was bad and yet at the same time could have been a lot worse. But it is easily the worst and it's a pretty bad movie. This one is the fourth, as my phone beeps. This one is the fourth. It's not a reboot. Absolutely part 4. And it takes place 5 years later, and really we only have Optimus Prime back, Bumblebee, and a couple other characters, but they're Transformers. We have no humans returning. We don't even know what happened to them. Stuff like that. Like the way they're treating it and the way you see the storyline unfold, it stands reason to believe that they were like Guantanamo Bay'd or executed. Like it's... Transformers are evil. The aliens are the enemy, is how this movie unfolds. And they do a good job of actually showing humanity fighting back against these things. Like, it's believable when you see them after 3 movies worth of really not doing much of anything except for running around avoiding being killed. This one shows them taking them down. And yes, there's with help, of course. But it works really well. It doesn't hurt that we have Kelsey Grammer leading the charge as the villain, and he is so good in this. And then Stanley Tucci is also a corporate villain, and we get a lot out of both of these guys, and they're so good. Both of them add huge weight to the proceedings here. It really helps elevate this big time. Because before, we didn't really have human villains, right? Here we do, and for some reason it works so well. And it's not a surprise, it's just, it works really well. As far as for the Transformers, we only have a couple of them, and they continue to do some of the really, really silly things that I don't understand. One of them has a beard, and it's all like metal jumbly thing. I don't like it. I don't get it. Another one is a samurai. Ken Watanabe voices him. He's got like a long coat. He's Asian. Like the face is a Japanese guy. He talks with the accent. He acts like a samurai warrior. He has swords. Why would he? Never really understood why a robot would come in and adopt a culture like that. It doesn't make any sense. Who was he? Is he completely ignoring who he was previously to adopt this culture from the planet that he's been on for, storyline-wise, 10 years? That doesn't make any sense to me. I never understood that kind of thing. So there is a bit of that. But he's still cool. Like, Ken Watanabe is awesome. And he's got one of the best lines. And we were talking about it in the parking lot on the way out. And I'll just leave the line as, I was expecting him to turn into a giant car. Academy Award-winning Ken Watanabe. I'll spoil it. There's spoilers here. You've seen it in the trailers, though. Academy Award-winning Ken Watanabe delivered that line as a samurai transformer as he watched Optimus Prime ride Grimlock. Sometimes things are just awesome. So yeah, the new Transformers, the Dinobots are in here. Obviously, they're really in it toward the end, like the last 20 minutes. The movie is 3 solid hours, start to finish, with previews. There's nothing after the credits either. It started at 10:30. We were walking out at 10:30, or sorry, 1:30. But it didn't feel like a bloated 3 hours. It felt long. Like when they were going to China for the last third, it felt like a normal movie would have been ending at that point. So it is long and it does feel it, but at the same time never dragged, I found. Mostly because I actually cared about the characters. Like I mentioned, the villains were great, and stuff happens with them, and it gets interesting, and it's good. But also the Transformers themselves, like Optimus, is great, and he's clearly a soldier and a leader pushed way past his normal breaking point. So people are saying about how he's acting uncharacteristically, and as the best way to put it is, he's been watching genocide happen from this local species to his species. I'd react the same way. Now, he's not like kill all humans, nothing like that. But it's definitely a, like, don't piss me off, trust no one, that kind of stuff. And it works. In context, it works great. And of course, he is true to his core, he is Optimus Prime. The other characters we have, though, are the good guy humans. Mark Wahlberg is replacing Shia LaBeouf. And some people are like, oh, we've lost the annoying kid, but we got the meathead. Have you not seen Pain and Gain? To not only see what Mark Wahlberg can do, but also with Michael Bay directing him, but also what he can do with Seth MacFarlane directing him, and Ted, stuff like that. Wahlberg's great. Wahlberg is so good in this, in the sense of he actually does stuff. Now that's script-based too. He's a father trying to help save his daughter and her boyfriend and do the right thing. He actually has things to do, and that's more the story and the script than anything else. But the prior movies, really, we had the kid, Shia LaBeouf's character, who's just kind of like the one who gets the car, and it's the audience's way in with him and Megan Fox. But then we're stuck with them for 2 more movies with LaBeouf. And meanwhile, there's a soldier guy who's been encountering it, and we spent a lot of time with them, and they really should be the star of things because they're actually doing things and accomplishing things. And yet, in the grand scheme of things, in the first 3 movies, they really, really don't. In this one, they actually do. They take up arms. They fight back. They inspire. They help. They actively participate in things that matter and pull it off convincingly. So, all in all, it really helped and really elevated things. The movie is as normal visual. The designs were great. We didn't get a lot of the crazy gears and busyness we've had at the other ones. They are more simplified here, and that really benefits, I think. And also the Dinobots look great. But all in all, it really does have a more beneficial feel to it. Like, they've learned from the last 3, and they've learned from their mistakes of third. And it's really come through in this one for the better. So it's a hard recommendation because a 3-hour Transformer movie is still a tough thing to recommend to people. If you've liked the other ones, I think you'll definitely like this one because it is better than 2 and 3 by far. Honestly, I liked it more than 1 just coming out of it because it felt fresh and new like the first one did, and yet didn't have to waste time establishing things. We knew what was going on, and yeah, we learned about new things with the villains and stuff like that, but it didn't really take long. But the key here, though, is... The key here, though, is when we were dealing with the Transformers in the first one, we wanted more of them, and when we didn't have them, we were dealing with comedic, silly parents and the kid who's over... In this one, we're dealing with the father struggling and fighting to keep his family going. And I know that sounds like every art film that I describe, but it actually is more... It's more better done. Transformers 4 is more better done. That's the review quote. It really is, though. It's better in everything it does. And to pull back and not compare it to the other 3, it actually does have a good sense of the whole, parallels between Wahlberg and Prime in family and struggling and sacrifice and things like that. And it works really well. And on its own, I mean, I don't review things on here, but as far as for recommendations, if you like Transformers, go see it. If you want to see a big action movie, go see it. It's a hard one to not recommend based on that. Based on history, I think it will sway you back. If 3 left you wanting more, this one will definitely do it. So that's the recommendation I have for Transformers Age of Extinction, and thank God they didn't call it Transformers. With the actual yeah. Thank God they didn't do that. But there's going to be a 5th one, obviously. They've said, no, we don't have plans for a 5th one. We don't. The way this one ends, there's still going to be a 4th. And even if they didn't end up for a 5th, rather, it's going to make a hojillion million, and they're going to get a 5th. So it's an easy recommendation for people who like the kind of movies that I like. It's definitely worth seeing, and it is worth seeing on the big screen and all that jazz. So it's recommended there. Beyond that, though, we're talking limited appeal. It's a bit more niche. But it's worth checking out at some point, definitely. I just wouldn't absolutely say rush to see it in the theater. But if you're interested in seeing it, you might as well see it the right way on the big screen. So that's that one. Check out episode 61, which is the review of the original Transformers theatrical movie from '86, The Transformers, the movie, with Isla Rangoon and DJ Soundbite. Go check that one out as well. And stay tuned, because I think we got a bit of a gap now until Expendables 3. That's August. What's in July? This could be a while before the next Hyperbole, but we'll see. There's more stuff to come, don't worry.